We ain't done yet. Dallas Mavericks 3-2 series lead over the mighty Miami Heat. Sorry guys about game 4. We got in late from watching the game. I just kind of didn't get around to making a video. But really, of course, as you can tell, very happy they won game 4. Another gritty, pulled out our game that we've been accustomed to the Mavericks doing over the final, at least over the playoffs. But here in the finals, both of those games we came back to win, it wasn't Mavericks basketball instead of that's the way we play offense. It was much more will over skill. And I think that before we get into game 5, Stam had his video after game 4. A lot of Mavericks fans felt the same way. I kind of was in the same boat. Not as much, but I know where he's coming from, because Dallas, there's no way Dallas can win this series by winning games like in game 2, like in game 4. It wasn't going to happen. Dallas was having to work so hard to pull those out, so hard to score, so hard to get stops on the defensive end. It was almost painful to watch, and then just at the end they pull it out. But game 5 is that the way the Mavericks played on offense is what me, Stam, and all the Mavericks fans were waiting on to see from this team in the finals. Because over the playoffs, what got us here was, of course, the defense was outstanding, but we were shooting the lights out. We were killing it from behind the arc. We're the best three-point shooting team left in the playoffs, and that's how we were just outscoring people. And what's impressed me about this team is that in those games we won early on in the series, we weren't outscoring. We were having to D up. This game, dropping 112, that's Mavericks basketball. But not just the amount of points, but how we scored the points. It wasn't just Dirk. Dirk had 29, was a leading scorer. But in the end, Nowitzki was able to rely on Jason Terry, J.J. Barea, and Jason Kidd. And that's what has given us Mavericks fans so much confidence going into this finals championship. Because before coming into this, the whole argument for the Heat was it's 3 stars versus 1 star. The big 3 versus Dirk Nowitzki, and yeah, Dirk's great, but he didn't have much help. Going into this finals, Dirk did have help. He had an entire team behind him, and this game we really got to see that. And of course, those guys are going to stand out because they're scoring. Of course, and Jason Terry, for me, you got to get the play of the game, not just because the way he played, but the criticism he's gotten, and he's put the target on himself. And Jet does that a lot. Jet takes a lot of the heat from Dirk, because Dirk's more the low key guy. Kind of gets the job done. He does his, it's a hard to play, but we play hard. That kind of stuff. That's Dirk in the press conference. He's very low key, very relaxed. Jet is the guy that's going to get the emotion going, get the crowd going, and he really did this last game. And both those guys, Dirk and Jet, were hitting crazy threes. I know Dirk early on hit that rainbow 3 they keep showing, which. How in the world does that go in? And then Jet in the fourth quarter hits one like that right in LeBron James' face. Now, getting on to that, and I talked about this in another video, and the series isn't over. And I said, we ain't done yet. That's the Mark Cuban line from in the Western Conference Finals. This Dallas team is still got a tall order to win a game in Miami in these next 2 games. Hopefully it's just 1, but we've got 2 shots at it. Still going to be tough. The guys know that. This is a very humble team, but a very motivated and veteran team. But the storyline of this series, I said this going in, has been the Miami Heat. It's the Miami Heat versus whoever else. If it was the Lakers, if it was Heat versus Lakers, it would be this clash of the Titans, that kind of thing. The world right now is shocked of what's happened right now. The Mavericks are America's team right now in the sense that mostly, unless you're either a Miami Heat true fan or one of the LeBron Big 3 bandwagon fans, you hate the Miami Heat. You can't stand those guys, just the way it all happened. So a lot of people are going for the Mavericks. But just because they're going for the Mavericks, I think the fact that it's 3-2 in the Dallas favor is kind of taking the whole country aback. So right now, the storyline in the media is, what's wrong with Miami Heat? What's going on with LeBron James' psyche? How bad hurt was Dwayne Wade? Does Chris Bosh? All this kind of stuff. And to me, it's like the credit for the Dallas Mavericks, what they've done so far, is after the fact. In every single conversation you're going to hear, it's going to say, now give credit to Dallas. Whenever they say that, anytime they say, now give credit to whatever, that's just a qualifier. Okay, that's just to get that out of the way so they can get to what they really want to talk about, which is the Miami Heat collapsing. What's wrong with them? Not what's right with Dallas. What's wrong with Miami? And I said this back in baseball season when the Yankees played the Rangers. You know, the Rangers whipped the dog out of the Yankees in that series, in the ALCS. And the whole storyline of that was not, wow, look at these Texas Rangers. It was, what's wrong with the Yankees? Are they done? Are they too old? All that kind of stuff. We got this and even with the Lakers series. When the Dallas Mavericks had to deal with this almost every single series, especially that Lakers series. Mavericks swept the Lakers, made them look like a bunch of chumps. And the storyline was, is this the end of the dynasty? What's wrong with Kobe? What's Phil Jackson going to do? The Dallas Mavericks have really taken that underdog role, that favorite underdog role, and ran with it. And I'm really loving seeing that from them right now. So right now, and so like I said, this game today was skill over will. You know, we've had to will ourselves to win these other two games. This one, the Dallas Mavericks showed Dallas Maverick basketball. Nowitzki got his points, but we didn't have to. It didn't have to come down to give it to him and he's going to hold the ball 14 seconds and get a big shot off, which he's great at. We got to take the pressure off of him today or yesterday, and let Jet, Barea, and Jason Kidd, who Jason Kidd was pretty quiet throughout the game. He was constantly a facilitator, constantly getting points, but it was just really steady. And then he hits that huge shot to give us that 5-point lead there in the end, and then Jet closes the deal. And JJ Barea hitting 4 threes. You know, I've talked about when Barea shoots those threes, he's usually good for one a game in these finals, but he'll shoot some others and miss them. He was 4 for 5. Are we going to keep doing that every game? No, it's not going to happen. But I do think they can play at that level. And, you know, Dirk's going to get his. Jet right now is playing with all the confidence in the world. I think Dallas can win this Joker Sunday. And I hope they do. I don't want to see a Game 7. Can they win a Game 7? Yeah. This has been my storyline throughout this entire playoffs, ever since the Portland series. This team has earned the right to have our faith in them, to have our respect, that they can get the job done. And once again, yesterday in Game 5, they showed it. Mavericks up 3-2. As a Mavericks fan, it's always great to see, you know, when you cheer for your in-state teams, to really enjoy what they're doing. You know, a lot of the people who are cheering for Miami, the true Miami fans, look, I hate it for you guys because you guys will never get to enjoy this from other fan bases. No one will ever give you any credit for this. But, you know, the people who are just LeBron hanger-ons, this doesn't mean that much to them. For the people who really care about the teams, this is what this is for. And this has been a great series, too. Even if you don't have an opinion either way, this has been a great series, just drama-wise. So, and it's hard for me to enjoy it because I just want the Mavericks to win. So, but go Mavs. We'll see you guys on Sunday, hopefully with the Dallas Maverick Championship. We got a long way to go. We'll see you guys later. Let's go Mavs.